Rise and welcome back to the studio, and we're joined in the studio today, none other than David Taylor from the Ulster Unionist Party. How you doing, David?
Not too bad, doing well.
And the legend himself, Andy Moffett.
Not too bad.
Thanks
Tony.
for coming in again, Andy.
Yep.
Been a long time. How you keeping?
I'm doing all right, Tony, and I'm looking forward to this election.
You're looking forward to it?
Yep.
And,
Although my name's not on the ballot paper.
But you're supporting this
But
man
my
here,
friend's on it.
Mr. David.
Yep.
So,
That's right.
David, how you doing?
I'm doing very well.
And I have to say, friends, thanks for coming in. I know it's a very, very busy time. You're out canvassing, electioneering.
Has been, yeah.
And, you know, and another thing, the traffic, lads. The traffic, you know, it's been pretty brutal, as you know.
Yep.
And I think Newry, I was saying it to all the councillors, I think Newry needs a traffic management plan, you know, to sort it all out. It's a disaster. But anyway, how's things? You're on. How's the election and the canvassing going?
Well, it's been going very well so far. We've got round near enough all the area. We're a few days away from maybe finishing every household that we wanted to get to.
Well,
so
that's busy going.
And we're going round again. So we're going very well.
You're going out for the second shot.
But the body's starting to get a wee bit weary now.
Not at
gets
all.
closer. So
Not at.
Well, hopefully, have enough steam left to get the election over now.
But then I have to say, I've been ringing you sometimes late. Now, not too late in the evening, but you answer the phone like that. I have to say, this man has been very busy, and you get like, as Andy said before when I had him in, you could get calls 2, 3 in the morning. This is the nature of your job.
It's the nature of the job. Certainly.
So you've been going 24/7, really.
Well, I don't think anyone that takes on this job should be under any illusion that it's not an ordinary 9 to 5 job. It's a job that you're on call 24 hours a day, if and when you're required, and that's one of the things that comes with it.
Yeah,
with it.
and you have to be available, don't you?
You do, yeah. Listen, if you're making yourself available to all the people, you have to be available if and when they want them, won't you?
Yeah.
So
And tell me this, David, as I was talking to a few other councillors, their areas have got bigger.
Yeah.
And not only that, they kind of encroach into different, say, you know, less friendly areas.
Well, listen, wherever you're elected, I'm there to represent everybody, irrespective of what their colour, class or creed is.
Well, that's very important.
I'm a unionist and I'm proud to be a unionist, but I'm there to represent everybody, irrespective of what their political background is. That's one of the advice I always gave when I put myself forward to this position. But yeah, I've been elected from 2011 for the Fuse area. But the Fuse area is now gone and has been divided into 2 areas, both Crotleave and Slieve Gullion. And Slieve Gullion, obviously, where I'm running, is the area that I'm in now.
So what new estates and all have you got?
It's quite a bit actually of South Armagh that wouldn't have been in previously, you know, including places like Cross, McLean, Mullabone, areas like that there. So it's taken in quite a bit of ground that we hadn't previously, you know, in before, you know. We have lost areas like Donegal, for instance, that would have been in there previously. But it's been a big canvas. It's been a hard slog over the last 3 or 4 weeks. But we certainly hope the results will show that the work was effort.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. This man's in it a lifetime, and he's well respected from all communities. I have to say. Yeah. He always has time for banter with anybody. And you know, obviously you're in the shadow at the moment. You know what I mean?
Certainly, yeah. There's no doubt about that.
But he's a good man.
He's been there nearly 40 years now, I think.
Very near,
near enough. And I think
I thought it was coming up to his 40th birthday.
Well, I think he wishes.
That's 20 quid, by the way, Andy. You know that.
He's not far off another big birthday in the next few days, but we'll
keep that quiet. We'll have to keep that quiet.
But no, he's definitely a legend. There's no doubt about that. And I tell you now, and certainly, you know, he could learn off a lot worse, I can tell you that. He could learn all the tricks of the trade, and he's been a great asset to me since I've been in council.
Well, that's a nice tribute to you, Andy. There, I have to say, and likewise, I have to say, because he's a gentleman, and you know everybody gets on well with the Andy man. You know, he's good even for shifting furniture. Not right, Andy. He's a great man. Well, tell me this, David. What do you see the new challenges in your new areas?
Well, the first challenge is going to be, given that it's a bigger area, there's going to be bigger interests at play. You know, when it was a local council, so to speak, you know, we had our own interests at heart for the local Newry and Mourne area. But now that we're going into another area with Down, there's going to be maybe conflicting interests, and not only between Newry and Mourne, but even Newry and Mourne and Down, but even within parties, because you know there'll be a fight for leisure provision wherever it may, on all sorts of services that might be up for grabs, and it'll not necessarily be along party lines. I think you'll see divisions even within parties because of the larger councils that exist. You know, the councils are very big. In our opinion, as a party, we thought they were too big. That there was the local context of a council was removed as a consequence of this. But we are where we are with that, and we'll have to get on with it. Yeah. But I think the biggest challenge is going to be the rates, the level of rates that'll be. You know,
Because that seems to be an awful, you know, I've been talking to business people around
Yeah.
the town and they're coming in here, and it is the big sticking point is
Yeah.
the rates, you know.
Well, the problem with RPA has been that there's been significant costs associated with RPA, and as a consequence of that, the costs that are there are going to be placed on local councils. It was previously agreed that the Assembly would pay for this, but then they backtracked on that and have put the bill now on the councils, which means you and I and others as ratepayers will face it.
We have to pay for it.
Will pay for it, and you know, and the current estimates are that the rates could maybe rise as far as 20% to cover this.
Whoa.
Cover this change. So it's very serious consequences with it, you know,
Sure
and
is.
it's going to maybe hit people hard in their pockets over the next few years.
Yeah, and people are getting hit hard enough.
Well, it's
you know.
tight enough. I know that the economy shows some signs of recovery, but we're still not out of the woods yet, and people are still being very careful with money and need to be careful because you never know when things could turn again. But you know, we have to be optimistic. But realistically, you know, people can't afford to pay anything near a 20% increase in their rates, and that could be the reality of the situation.
There could be trouble on the way, as the old
There could
saying goes,
certainly
you know.
be, you know.
But then our elected representatives can maybe hammer out something, you know.
Well, certainly we will try our best to keep the rates
Of
down
course,
as low as
yeah.
possible. But when you're placed in a situation by central government where you have to cover the costs with this,
That's crazy, isn't it?
there's no other way out of it.
So it seems the central government, they kind of give and then they take it away again,
Well, exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
And then leave it for us guys
Yeah.
to sort out, you know.
Yeah.
But it's another sticking point in politics, really, isn't
will
it? You
be.
know?
Yeah.
And then it's left for you guys to explain it to the likes of us guys, you know.
That's the problem, and I know we have been to and fro with the Assembly over this issue, but they haven't budged on it, and unfortunately now say it is going to be local ratepayers going to pick up the bill for it. You know.
Oh, it's unbelievable the way it turns out. Have you seen a big change in politics recently in this area?
Well, I suppose we all try to work together, but there still is the old, you know, green and orange issues which
Never go away.
which are
like.
prevalent at times, you know, and it's,
Yeah.
and that will probably continue to be the case. But you know, we're obligated to try and work for the best of all our people, irrespective of
Yeah.
who they are, what they are. You know,
Yeah.
that's. You know, I certainly, you know, whenever I try to make decisions, I try to make them about the best decision for everybody. You know.
Yeah.
You know, but I have my own, you know, my own. Points of view in terms of the constitutional position and things like that there, and I'm very firm in that, and
Yeah.
if and when it needs to be protected, I'll do that.
Good man,
so-
that's you know, you've got principles there. Like,
Well, yeah,
and it's great to see. Andy, how do you think that David's getting on then? And
Well, as you know, we've had a good canvas, Tony, right around the whole area, and
Yes.
we believe it or not, what we hadn't done before, we canvassed in the Crosswood Lane area in the last
is unbelievable.
2
You
to
know,
3 weeks.
this is
and,
unreal.
Got a great reception
there you go.
from the people. Now, there is going to be big changes in Uri and Mourne, because I really do believe that the council's nearly too big. Now, we stretch from Cullerville to Saintfield,
Saintfield.
and
Wow.
you know, those who drew up the boundaries and changed the whole thing, they should have been looking at Uri and Armagh, Westminster constituencies, but that's not the way it went, and we just have to put up with what's there.
And make the most out of it, I suppose.
Make the most
and-
out of it, but it's not going to be easy. Uri and Mourne's going to have to change a lot, because, you know, all down through the years, Tony, Uri and Mourne Council hasn't a lot to show really for. You mean, you take our town halls falling around us, our arts centres falling around us, and many other things. I mean, I go to other districts, and I was in a wee place in Limavady. I said one day it was a village, but it's not a village, of course.
Yeah.
They have an arts centre you could seat 200 to 300 people in.
What? In
And-
a little place like that?
A little place like Limavady, and you go to Lisburn, and the buildings they have. And,
The swimming pool especially is great. down
Lisburn,
there.
believe it or not, is the same population as Uri and Mourne. But Uri and Mourne threw a lot of money out to other people instead of spending on their own facilities.
Consultants probably. These
That would
consultancy
have to
firms.
change.
These
I'm sure you're aware of that we're building a new swimming pool,
I'm aware of that. And
and we're only doing half at the minute of the swimming pool. We don't have the money to
What?
build it to complete the whole thing. No.
My
You know,
goodness.
and it's terrible.
It's
and as
unbelievable.
I said before, our town hall needs 700 or 800,000 spent on it.
And that building is a completely rare building.
It's a great building.
Insofar as that it's built on a bridge
Yeah.
over a river. I mean, there's not too many buildings
but
like
that's
that.
no fault through our officials of the council. It was the councillors that was driving force behind. I mean, they weren't looking at our own buildings. They're looking out there, football games and
See,
GAA, for instance. I mean,
Yeah.
I have nothing against it. I no bother watching a game or anything.
Yes.
But a lot of money has been thrown into it. Understand? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's unbelievable.
Well, football feels to me, because I'm not a soccer supporter. Sorry about that, all the friendly soccer fans.
Well, I'm
but-
not support any sport, but
Yeah.
we should have more facilities for the soccer. Really, and we don't have only a few fields here and there. You know.
Yeah.
And we are looking maybe to try and look at Carnbean for make it a home for soccer. There is other land available there adjacent to it.
There's plenty of room out there, Andy, isn't
Which
there?
could be purchased and developed. So that may be on the cards in the future. But there's a lot of hot air at Newry Council too as well, of course, you know.
Yeah.
And
And then they're on about there's a lot of feeling about a public park.
Yeah.
There's people coming in
well,
here.
there and all
and
again,
you know,
you think we don't have any public park. No matter where you go, you'll have a public park for the young ladies and mothers to walk their pram and their children with their dog, or go out to walk and picnics and stuff like that. We have
Yeah.
nothing. No matter where you go anywhere else, there's parks. We don't have that in Newry. And there had been, chances has been missed over the years.
Yeah.
I think the problem is the priorities haven't been right. You know, the priorities have been elsewhere when they should have been investing in their own facilities, and you know, and something that the general public would all benefit from, rather
Yeah.
than
Rather than
bits and pieces here.
Yeah.
Sort of bit, you know.
But there seems to be a lot of talking and no action, you know.
Correct and right, hot air.
Hot air, yeah.
Lip service, as a man said. Many, many years ago, our chief executive suggested that we'd have a new council building, but it was pushed to the one side by the councillors. So, I mean, you can't blame the officials that run the council at the top for what we haven't got.
Yeah.
It has been councillors.
Unbelievable.
We had certainly a difference of opinion when we got the new bus station for Newry. So, I mean, it's definitely going to have to change. And these young men and women that's coming in now, I would hope, will have that view. The other big thing for Newry and Mourne is the Southern Relief Road.
Yes.
The road coming from the Dublin Road to the Point Road. And that's very much a priority. Now, we weren't in favour, neither David and myself, with the council. We didn't give our whole support
Yes.
to the bridge at Northwater.
Right.
Because we thought the priority for the bridge where it should be is up next Newry, up onto the Dublin Road. And we knew if we get one bridge, we'll not get two bridges.
Yeah.
So whenever it had to come along, it got approval, then we were in there supporting it. But then the Southern government weren't truthful either with the people here in Newry and Mourne either. They were telling people one thing, they weren't financing it, and they were telling our people they were, and we've evidence of that.
My goodness.
Believe it or not.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
And David could back me up on that.
That's certainly the case.
It's not
yeah.
ridiculous at a
We
high
have that-
level, you know.
Yeah.
We have that from the horse's mouth, where the minister was saying one thing to a group of people in Newry and Mourne, and
unreal.
something else to a group of people in Belfast.
My goodness.
You understand? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
So it's you can't
Well,
really
there was a
get
lot
the-
of dishonesty around the
Yeah.
Narwater Bridge issue, you know, I think, and people try to apportion blame at certain quarters, but the blame really lay with others, you know. So,
yeah, well, people said to me, Moffett, look, you didn't support it.
you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't a matter of supporting it. The people that should have been supporting it wasn't supporting it,
There
and
you
those are
go.
the people with the money.
There you go. There you go.
You understand? You know,
Ah.
and that hasn't been out in the open.
Yeah, the only the media puts out what they want to put
Correct,
out,
right,
and
and,
the rest of us have to deal with that.
Exactly.
When it came
that's
to the stage, when it came to talk about the bridge at council, I demanded to meet the minister in Dublin and let him tell us what he was telling the leader of my party.
Yeah. Two different stories, huh?
Two different stories.
That's unreal.
And another very close friend of mine. And we knew what was going on, but Newry councillors that were supporting it weren't listening.
You have heard it live here in the Banter show, friends, and that's the way it is, isn't it, Andy?
That's right, that's right.
You know, tell me this, David,
Yeah.
or even Andy, I'll ask you first, are you aware of fracking?
Yes, I am indeed. That's up in Fermanagh.
Yeah, are you aware of it,
I
David?
am, yes, certainly am.
Are you
Yeah.
aware of everything that goes along with it? Or?
Well, there's been I know there's a very strong campaign, you know, particularly from people around Fermanagh in particular,
Right.
but generally around Northern Ireland and even the Republic of Ireland.
Yeah.
I know that our local office, for instance, in Market Hill, as a party, has been receiving quite a few representations about that, concerned about it. And at the minute, I have an open mind because I don't know the full details
Yeah.
of it, you know,
Yeah.
other than what you know.
What you see in the media,
What you see in
and
the media,
YouTube, and
you know,
but if I can, I'll make
you
it a bit
see-
clearer for you. As a young lady, sorry, Andy, as a
Yeah,
young
go
lady has approached me, and I met her yesterday, and this young lady, she's from England originally, Bracknell area, and she's so passionate about this fracking that they're fracking in this part of England, and some of her friends have got arrested and all. But she lives here now, and she's very clued in. She's a film director as well, and she asked me to ask. I said I was getting local councillors in. She says, "Can you ask them to know about fracking?" And I've asked Councillor Highland was in the other day. He didn't know, he couldn't really comment because he wasn't really up to date in it, but he says, I'll back that young lady 100%. You know, it does sound dangerous now. But she
Well,
is...
it's a form of drilling to produce gas.
The drill way,
right
very deep down
in the
and pumping some hydraulic fluids, which upset the gas.
I certainly do know that there's problems about Fermanagh, and people are there's people for and people against, and certainly I've done it in was it Enniskillen,
Yes.
maybe 8-9 months ago, and certainly it was well discussed at that meeting I was at. But I'm a type of fellow that I would love to get it explained to me all before I would object to something.
Yes, yes.
You mean, you just don't object to something unless...
There you go.
Just because someone suggests it's a good idea and somebody thinks it's not a good idea. Like, if you go back to the mobile phone masts.
You remember the big furore over there?
Well, I mean, we were in South Armagh the last 2-3 weeks and we couldn't even get a signal in it on our mobile phones. Yet the people that was complaining about the telephone mast were with 2 and 3 mobile phones in their pocket.
Yeah.
And yet they were playing to the gallery, but it certainly wasn't all that they were against the mobile phones. There was other reasons why they didn't want them built, and there was a political reason, because at that particular time the army had been in South Armagh, and probably they could have connected into this and that.
And then
It was a political thing.
Then that's it.
And they used the health end to be against it.
Oh yeah, get the fear campaign going.
And put an awful scare in people.
Yeah.
You know, about the mobile phones. Well, I have no proof they may be bad for your health. I don't know. I have no proof of it.
Yeah.
But we have investigated many, many times, and they've come back evidence that there's none.
Yeah.
But there is big problems here and there with these turbines now. For there again, I don't have I'm not experienced enough either to say you should have them or you don't have them.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I brought up the fracking was, I say, this young lady's so passionate about it, she was reduced to tears because of what's going on in England. In
Well, I think
her
there's been,
hometown,
you know, some of the stories I've seen from America, for instance, there's some villages, for instance, where it's taken place where they've said it's been great for their local economy. You know, it's provided brought a lot of money into their area, it's provided employment, but then there's also, that has to be weighed up against the environmental concerns and the damage that it does to the local area as well. So it's really, you know, it's said, because I haven't been, you know, provided with all the information, and there has been quite a bit of concern about it, I understand that, but it's really hard to make a decision on until you get the full details. And
well, sorry for asking you guys, but just for this young lady, because she's so passionate.
Because I mean, we do know there's big problems up in Fermanagh, and there's for
and the concerns have to be taken seriously, because if even if it does bring employment into the area, that can't always override genuine concerns about things, particularly if it does cause damage, you know. But I think we would, you know, obviously I would want to see the full details of both sides of the argument until I would make any sort of conclusive decision on it. You know.
Well, as I say now, I'm just asking for Diane here, and there you go, Diane. I asked, and I will ask all the councillors, because that's what she wanted me to do. And you know, as I say, it's the passion this young lady has, and she's so frightened about it, about the whole the workings of this, you know, fracking. You know, and she was telling me she's done a lot of research. She knows what she's talking about.
Well,
and she's going to be planning to march to storm it now. I know.
Right. Okay.
And she wants all parties involved and big support. You know.
If the evidence is there, they're harmful to the community, then why shouldn't we support it? But we must have the proof that it is. The evidence in the research that there is a problem.
There you go. Get your research done there, Diane.
Yep.
Get your research package done, and then we'll talk again. But let's get back now.
But you could come along, of course, and speak to them at Union Council. The council would probably allow her to come and give her 5-10 minutes time to speak about it.
Would this be at the council chamber in the monthly meetings?
Yes.
Well, certainly,
There's another avenue for us, Diane. There's another. So, check that out. I'll be talking to you later on anyway.
I'm willing to learn about it and hear all about it.
Yeah.
As I said, I had attended a meeting up in Fermanagh with my party way back 8-9 months ago.
Have they started up there with the fracking up there?
No, there hasn't
Not
been
yet?
any, no decision made on it.
No.
I mean, no decision made at this moment in time.
Because I know they were at it in England, and because she was telling me when they were fracking in England, there was many earthquakes happening whilst they were fracking. So this is, I can understand how passionate
I think
she
it's
is.
only exploratory at this stage, exploratory work, you know.
So,
but I don't like people maybe trying to scare the life out of people.
Yeah.
Because
especially when you're pointing them glasses at me like that there, I thought you were going to...
In Northern Ireland, we're very good at of just throwing everything out before we even investigate.
And even it's maybe one of the issues, even with the internet, you can find anything you want on the internet to support your argument. The internet's, there's so much information on the internet that they'll always find something to give you some sort of basis for an argument, you know. So, but we'll see how the research goes.
See how the research goes. There, you've heard it here live in the Banter show. But as I say, so that's the end of the fracking. So it's
we have no problem listening to her, Tony.
There you go.
I can assure you that. We'll give her an open ear. We'll listen to what she has to tell us.
Well, that's very good.
And if she can persuade us one way or the other, then we'll probably support her. And if she can't, we'll end.
Well, I have to say, Andy, you're always a good listener.
Well,
that man is always a good listener.
You don't want to be pushing
good talker
people.
too.
Oh, good talker too.
You can't be pushing. You just can't be pushing people to the side and treating them badly. You must listen to people's views and
give them a chance.
Give them a chance.
Yeah. So back to the election campaign. Are you still, when you leave here, probably get a small cup of tea and that there, and back in the campaign field again?
Going out to knock doors,
Oh yeah.
Going out to knock doors again.
And then this is going to be probably, it's the big push on now.
Well, certainly it's one week.
You're going to be late nights now, are you?
1 week today. Well, it's been very late every night this week.
Well, we have knocked many doors, and we are now on the way around to give them a second call. Believe it or not.
Very good.
We're certainly...
To be sure, as they say.
Well, people you miss and stuff, but it's certainly been a late week this week. You know, I know even, like, it was 2:30 Monday night, 2 o'clock Tuesday night, and 4 o'clock last night.
See, and there's me ringing you tonight, thinking, I'm ringing them at 11:30.
We weren't out PMs, but we're getting...
We have posters to do, there's postal communications and stuff to do.
Because leaflets and...
It's not just a thing, you don't just get, can I ring, give me some election posters and then just go up. No, there's a whole lot of organising to do for this, isn't there, really?
I was sitting at paperwork till 2 o'clock in the morning and I wasn't standing, so I mean, that's how interesting
I think, bar you're actually... campaigning yourself, or you're like Andy here, you're giving someone a hand with the campaign. Andy's enough experience with elections, to write a book on it. But how time consuming it is, and it consumes all your time.
Yeah,
it's always in your thoughts, and it takes over your private life, your public life, everything. It just takes over, it consumes you for the whole 4 week period, and even before that. But certainly, whenever you get out knocking doors, it takes over your life.
And I suppose even a week after the elections, you're still going to get the air and the wind down there.
I, to be honest with you, intend to sleep for a week after the election, so if I can.
Give the phone number to him.
Well, we hope to hit doors at the places that haven't really been yet in South Armagh. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a new challenge for you too, lads. It must be slightly bordering on slightly scary, because you don't know what reception people's going to give.
You're never sure the reaction. We all have areas where we would consider ourselves to be stronger in support than others. There's no point in saying otherwise. But certainly we've been knocking as many doors as we can.
We were in Crossford and we were in for a cup of tea in the wee restaurant. Into the bakery up there, what do they call it?
Magnamese.
So people might have been surprised to see two unionist councillors sitting in the middle of Crossford Glen,
at the window,
having a scone and a cup of tea.
We're sitting at our tea in Crossford Glen, and there were people walking past, and there were people walking past news. And they nearly fell on the footpath. What's that boys doing here in Crossford Glen?
But the same's happening with other councillors here, nationalist councillors, and now they're going out around where maybe it was your old country,
That's right.
And they're getting, they're up knocking the doors of people as if they, what are you doing here?
That's it.
But one thing they've said, that they didn't get any abuse. People have taken them under there, and listened to them at the door, and even, maybe, I'll consider your vote there,
Well, I think I got 2 refusals at the door for weren't bad behaviour, but they didn't want the leaflet.
And it wasn't, and I think even, it's not even necessarily because they don't support necessarily a political party or of any sort.
Support anyway.
They just don't support anything. They're just turned off by politics. That's.
Tony.
I hear you. And that's probably both sides of the community.
If everybody liked you, then you'd be in trouble. there would be a problem.
There would be a problem.
You've been telling a lot of lies.
Yeah, everybody doesn't like you, even some of your own.
Oh, big time, big time. That's the way this part of the world runs.
Yeah,
it's a
it
strange
does,
part of
yeah.
the world. But I have to say, unfortunately, we've got the time out there from our main man, Andy.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, I wish you the best
Thank
luck
you.
in the election
Thank
campaign.
you.
I really do.
Right.
Andy, good man,
Good
and
man,
thanks for
Tony.
coming in.
And
Sorry,
thank you
no
for
problem.
asking. us.
And for this
Thank
man
you.
here, a legend, friends. Don't ever forget that, Andy Moffett.
We'll be talking to you.
Yes, we'll see you out in the pass.
Yeah.
You will indeed. We're
You know-
looking forward to you coming out there.
So for me, David and Andy, friends, we're out of here, razor.